Alright everyone, since the server I play on, I see a lot of people asking. There's a lot of new people that seem to be... There's always new people joining the game. If you're one of those people, you got your questions, or even if you're not new, you're new to the lunar thing, I figure I'll give you a rundown of what I do to survive the lunacy. So, I just started this character on this server, so I have nothing on me except I planned ahead. Every time, unless you're brand new, I highly suggest always carrying an advanced drill and an advanced chainsaw, because that'll just save your, I wouldn't say save your life, but yeah, it saves your life. Just, it's indispensable at this point. I always am carrying the chainsaw and drill just because it speeds up that beginning process, especially in those early stages. So with that covered, I'll go ahead and show you all my little tips, tricks, what I do, what I wear, what I eat, and all that as I try to survive this lunacy. So, without much further ado, let's get this show on the road. Then something to keep in mind that you've probably noticed that you're gonna have to learn to do all your gathering, your mining, all that has to happen during the day, or those buttholes are gonna spawn on you and have a bad time. It ain't bad once you actually get up to 50, you start getting your good weapons, and you actually start looking forward to it. Just surviving that initial part, and it's frustrating, and you're gonna make mistakes, and you're probably gonna die. I died a lot trying to figure out this lunacy at the beginning. My first ever full playthrough of this game was actually during the first lunar event. So I picked up a few tips and tricks just surviving that, and by the end I got pretty decent, and then now I've bounced around a few servers, finished quite a few servers. I'm up to 7 butterflies, so that tells you how many scenarios I've survived, and as embarrassing as it is, and I got like 1100 hours into this game. I still don't know it all. My memory is like a sieve, so I do my best. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Do all your stuff during the day. At least at the beginning parts. So, as of now, I just spawned. It's getting nighttime. I'm not going to reach the destination I want to set up at, so fortunately, I'm just going to camp out in this town. And I'll wait till morning comes and then try to get at least a basic base thrown up. And I don't go crazy. My first initial, when I join a server, I try to get that initial spot set up so I can at least get one deviation to help cover my butt. And I always bring, for me, I love my Shattered Maiden. Don't know why. Just, it unlocks a lot of enemies. And I've got a really cool Wandering Witch one, so I carry that with me. So that's something else to keep in mind, that when you come in, if you're coming in brand new, you're not going to have a lot of this stuff. Or if you only played one scenario, say you played the Starfall one, and now you're coming to this, and you're like, this sucks ass. It does suck ass at the beginning, but it gets better, I promise. And then also make sure you grab your commissions right out of the gate, because that'll help you get some levels up. By the end of this video, I plan on being level 50, and I'm going to show you a little tip that I do. So, but that's what I gang rush myself to 50 at this point. And I've got several little tricks to doing that. Like I said, constantly being on top of my commissions. And with this lunacy, there's another neat thing that you can do to help get your levels up. And honestly, Once Human is probably one of the best communities I've seen around. In all of my scenarios, sure, you're gonna get those buttheads arguing in chat. You're gonna get trolls, but it's nothing like I've seen with other games. Like, it's minimal. It's very minimal. Everyone's really helpful. A lot of people don't mind helping out, as long as you're not being lazy. Because there are people that'll come in and they'll be like, hey, you know, I need this, I need that, give me. Yeah, they're not going to like those type of people. But if you're like, hey, man, just started, anybody mind me jumping in with y'all and leveling up? You know, usually people are really chill about that. So, with that being said, I'll show you my next step of getting some levels. Alright. As you notice, there is a million people down here, and you're going to see it in chat, everyone's going to be like, BP with a question mark, and what they're talking is about beach parties, and everyone will group up into parties of 4, team up, and basically kind of share all the experience, help each other level up, get their lunar whispers, acid, that type of thing. This, bar none, man, is an awesome way to quickly level up. So if you can get into a party, like level 3, so I doubt anyone will let me join their party, because they at least want you to carry yourself somewhat. But some people are, usually pretty chill, and they don't care. They'll help people get up to levels quickly, so you can always ask and, you know, invite for BP, invite for beach party, and everyone teams up on World 1 and just kind of helps each other out. So I would highly recommend this be your tactic to get your levels as quick as possible. Because the quicker you get to 50, the quicker you can get everything else rocking and rolling, you know, and that's one less thing you have to worry about. And then after that, you just got to worry about gathering your gear, gathering the resources, and getting yourself built up that way. So, and yeah, so keep your eyes peeled in chat, keep watching for that. And like I said, there's a lot of nice people, so hopefully you find somebody that'll let you team up with them and drag you along. So also, something else I should point out is if you get into a team, say you're just starting out, you're low level, you don't want to be the one scooping water, because enemies spawn in at that person's level. So usually you'll want the highest level person on your team to be the one scooping, while everyone else is at least tagging and killing the enemy, and that way that's how it's all shared, and that's how you get the higher levels, higher experience, so on and so forth. So that's something else to keep in mind. You can see everyone cutting loose over here. Alright, with that said, I am gonna bang out some levels real quick, try to get some levels up, and then I can show you some of my other steps and tricks and everything like that when I've got more unlocked and I can build more, etc. Alright, so after a night of I found myself a group, tagged along with them. I had enough bullets that I was able to tag some enemies. Luckily, they were all level 40 people, so they had no problem with me jumping in with them. Helped me get up to, what was it, 31. 31 in one round. Or one night of Lunar, which helped. And basically, I just had to stay away from getting hit by anything. Which, the biggest problem I had was those stupid exploding bugs. That's something to keep in mind. So I made myself a crossbow. Mainly, I always tend to make myself a crossbow out of the gate because I can get my arrows back part of the time, which relieves the stress of rebuilding ammo or etc, etc. And it doesn't take a whole lot to build a crossbow. And with the critical pulse just being a badass, in my opinion, I decided to go with that. So I got some arrows built. Oh, something else to keep in mind. When you're doing those beach parties, do not be one of those guys that brings giant bears. Don't be bringing turrets. People get really bitchy about that. And for reasons. The turrets are, especially if it's the phantom turrets that mimic your gun's attributes, it's taken away chances for other people that's there to put a tag on an enemy and get some experience, whispers, asses, etc. And then bears obviously are so massive, they're constantly getting in people's way. Like, people get pretty upset in chat when people are bringing their giant bears and they're getting in everyone's way. Trust me, when you do a beach party or two, you'll understand. It gets chaotic and there's a ton of people there, so don't be one of those people, guys. Now, as for your sanity, I don't even bother with the gummies. Honestly, it gives you, 500 of your sanity back, but the problem is it gives it back and then immediately just ticks right back down. So I don't even bother building sanity gummies. I can't remember the last time I built a sanity gummy, to be honest. What I tend to try to do, and it's not the best solution, but it's about one of the fewest, is apples. We find apples freaking everywhere, so you can make some apple soda. The sanity recovers very slowly. It's not monumental, it's not great, but honestly, if you're looking for every little bit that matters, that's the way to go. Like I said, you can find apples anywhere. Making glass isn't that hard. So, if you just buckle down, stay alive long enough, and I know that's saying something for this game sometimes in the beginning with this lunar stuff. Like, I haven't recorded it, but I've died a couple times already, just because I got cocky. But, so, really, that's your only choice other than just accepting the fact you're going to be a low HP build for a while. Now, fruit tea, that gives you sanity back, but it's kind of the same thing. It gives it back, and then it immediately ticks it away. I believe, yes, grilled mushrooms, another one, gives sanity back, but again, it just ticks away immediately. So, I don't even bother with that. And like I said, this is on the basic stove. I'm showing you the basic starter stuff here, man. I got just the minimal set up here. Now, for your armor, honestly, that being said, you're going to be low HP build right out of the gate. So what I would do is I would go with the 3-piece Savior set and then a 2-piece Treacherous set. Your Treacherous set, you get your 2-piece, which when HP is below 70%, your weapons damage and status damage is plus 12%. Now, if you go with the Saviors, if you got a 3-piece, consumes 8% of current HP upon hit to generate a temporary shield equal to 5% of max HP. Last and blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. When HP consumed, ups weapons and status damage plus 5%, stacking up to 4 times. You know, so that would be that's usually what I do out of the gate to get myself to where I want, and then I kind of change things around. Because being in phase 1, you can't make ale. I mean, ale's the best thing, dude. When I get to phase 2, man, that's all I'm about. Is make as much ale as I can to help combat a lot of that. And then you can honestly build your armor how you want around that. Like I said, with me, with the crossbow, I just made some basic critical pulse pants. Just tier 1. That's all I'm wearing for gear. Otherwise, I'm not wearing any armor for now because I just don't have the resources for it. So, like I said, if that's what you guys want to shoot for, like I said, I would shoot for 2-piece Treacherous, 3-piece Savior. And then the other pieces you can build to fit, man. Something else I would recommend as well, honestly, when you're just starting out, obviously, low HP, you're going to go down a lot. So instead of dying and dropping your stuff, I would use some of your resources, at least get a couple of your adrenaline shots. Get a couple of those made. Like I said, this is one night of doing those beach parties, and I'm already got that much acid. He said stone wasn't bad, and a lot of the drops that got dropped during that, I was able to break down, so I was able to get some rubber, Stardust source. That being said, say you don't have any of those resources, there is in your, where is it? Nope. Right there. Recommended events, you go to your Astral Duelets. There's usually one you can buy there, and if you're just starting out, you should have your 120. That's at least one to get you started. There's some activators, and like I said, there's gummies if you need it. But again, I bought them just because when I'm at base, laying in bed, because it's the basic bed, sometimes takes a little bit longer to get my sanity back up than I want, so I can go out farming and feel somewhat secure, and at least take an A hit before I can run away. Tactically retreat like a man. Now, something else to keep in mind, when you're doing these, you're gonna see, you're being watched by the Moon Lord, or the Lunar Lord, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, yeah, the Lord of Moonlight is watching me. It's because I got whispers in my pocket from picking up from this. Eventually, he's gonna show up and give me a nice choke slam and then take half my whispers. And if you're freaking out about that, don't worry about that. At the end of the night, you get your whispers back. There's just an extra incentive if you hunt them down and kill them, because they'll drop a chest that you can loot and so on and so forth. But if you're just worrying about here getting leveled up, etc., and so on and so forth, don't even worry about that. Yeah, see, here we go. It's gonna give me a nice choke slam and then take some of my whispers. Yep, see, it took 46 of my whispers. But like I said, at the end of the night, I'll get them back anyway, so I'm not any concerned about it. I usually just try to get it out of the way as soon as possible. So that's something to keep in mind, so don't freak out about that. Alright, so the next part of my plan when I'm doing these is, it's not just Lunar I do this on. Any of the other ones, I really like this location. For the simple fact that there's a lot of good resources around this area. Once you hit phase 2 and the rest of the map unlocks, I try to bust butt to tailgrass in and set myself up on this lake here for several reasons. One, I got a bunch of aluminum, I got tin, there's wood up there, then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grape bushes up there, which you'll need for your pancakes. And pancakes is also really helpful for leveling up. Then now you got steel and a bunch of other stuff up on those hills. You got wheat that grows around here. corn, all kinds of stuff, and then you have all the water plants. So if you're going to be like a beastmaster or something like that, where you need a lot of herbs, etc., this is like a really good spot for that. You got your clean water right here. There's always a ton of deer around this area. I got a spot over there that I just continuously farm, so especially if you get the H37 and put him in a containment, he's constantly wandering over there and getting you stuff. You see some orange bushes. So this is just a spot I like to set up in. Now, with that being said, we're in phase 2. That unlocks quite a bit more for us. Especially the biggest thing you're going to want to have. And that's going to be that ale. You're going to find that right down here. You're going to have to unlock the brewing barrel. And this is a godsend. If you're going to want to farm in peace without being half insane. I mean, look, man. I lost my sanity in real life a long time ago. I don't like having lost sanity in the game. So I get this malt ale unlocked. And as you can see, it's just wheat and purified water. Problem is advanced stove. So usually during phase 1, I'm always scrambling to grab stuff, so on and so forth, just so I can at least bare minimum. And I mean, look, I got a bike, man. I've even built the motorcycle, just the pedal bikes while I've been getting around on. So that way I can get myself the advanced stove set up, which I did over there. Another thing I like to get set up quick out of the gate is this bad boy here, so you don't have to worry about making charcoal and then making the stuff you want. And honestly, with this area I have around here, you can constantly be smelting stuff and also gaining experience, so on and so forth. And then you're gonna want the rain catcher. Like I said, I'm basing this off bare minimum, so you don't have to go too balls to the wall gathered and shit. I got the rain catcher up there. I got the smallest purifier I can make, and then the water catcher. And I set it up this way, so that way I don't need any pumps, and I'm using minimal electricity, so it just gravity feeds into that, and then it gravity feeds into that, and gets me all that I need. As you can see, I'm only running 2 small solar generators. And you could probably get away with only 1, honestly, but I had enough resources in my pocket to make it. So I've been letting this kind of run for a little bit, and I'm already at 274. Then that being said, I got that purified water, which you'll need for the ale. So we'll scroll down to the ale, and as you can see, just 2 wheat, 1 deviated wheat, but honestly, just 2 wheat, man. Get that cooking, and honestly, you can find a ton of wheat. I like to do, go to Deadsville, and I'll run up in here, and there's usually a ton up in here. And on top of that, you can get bananas. There is 1 apple tree up in here you can hit, so that also will help with those pancakes. So if you're not getting enough of your levels off of that beach party, you can just do that too. Just get those pancakes made and get that experience level going up. Alright everyone, that being said, that's just some of the basics I do to get myself through this. I'm sure there's a few things I've missed along the way, and for that I apologize. I fly by the seat of my pants. I try not to rely on what I read online. I don't trust anything I see on Google. There's been so many times I've read something and it just either doesn't work or doesn't work for me or whatever. So I'm just showing you the things I for sure do and try to survive this. So if you see anything I missed, so on and so forth, definitely feel free to drop it in the comments. I'm always open to new ideas, things I may have missed, ways to improve, so on and so forth. So if you have your own tips, tricks for surviving this lunar lunacy, definitely feel free to let me know and reach out. So as always, everyone, be safe out there, people. World peace, baby.